All right. What's going on, my comic chat army? We're here with Adam, the writer and creator of Shit Show.
Yes, Cody, how are you?
I'm doing good, Adam. How about yourself?
Good.
Yep. And if y'all probably heard of Shit Show, he's doing a great job of promoting it everywhere. So y'all should pick it up. When is it coming out?
It's July. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that. We're hoping for summer release,
All
which I
right.
think is very, very possible with everything that's going on and the scheduling and things of that nature. So the goal right now is to get Shit Show so ingrained in your brain, it's just kind of part of your life for the next 7 months, and you realize you absolutely need this book.
Right.
At
Yes.
least this way you can't forget it's coming out, so you have no excuse to put it on your pull list or pre-order it.
Right. So they can get it at any of their local comic book shops?
Yes, not yet.
When it comes out.
Right. I don't want to say when that'll be. It'll still be a few months,
All
2 months probably before you'll be able to pre-order. But just like Brian Silverback, you interviewed him not too long ago. His book Loggerhead just went on pre-order this week, right? So like that, it'll go in previews world, and then we'll get the code, and you'll be able to take your code into your comic store and pre-order it. And that's kind of the way you got to do it these days, right? Just to make sure
Right.
your comic store gets it. You should be having a pull list at your LCS anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do plenty of things once we get to that point. I'm going to do all sorts of like coupon type stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you could just print it off from our Facebook page and take to your comic store, and it'll have the code on there, so you don't have to remember, because it's like 3 letters and 6 numbers or something.
That's pretty cool. I like that idea. That's definitely different. I've never heard of that.
We'll do that. Try to make it easier. I don't want to make it a pain for
Right.
people to order my book. So we'll see that. Hopefully, in an ideal world, every single comic store in the country would carry plenty of copies.
Right.
Um, but that's not a real world.
Yeah.
So you'll have to pre-order it
So
when it is available.
how many issues do you plan on making this book? Is it going to be a miniseries or?
So the way it's set up right now, it's a micro series. I'm not sure if micro series is the right term, right? But the first story is called The Magnificent McCoys. I'm calling it Volume 1, The Magnificent McCoys. It's 3 issues.
Okay.
I am very much building it like the Hellboy world. If you guys read Hellboy comics, I'm kind of sort of building it like this. Obviously, I'm not trying to compare myself to Mike Mignola by any means.
Okay.
But I mean, the first 3 issues that we have now, that you are guaranteed you'll see on the shelf, is 3 issues. It's a self-contained story, but the good thing is there are some things here and there where we can spin off and do some other stories. Just being completely honest, I have like 20 some issues planned out in my head.
Nice.
Various things we can go. Certainly some story arcs that definitely live up to the name Shit Show. Now I would love to get to them at some point. Right now, The Magnificent McCoy's 3 issues. I am pretty sure, hopefully, we can squeeze in at least one shot with this prior to it's collected in a trade. I think we could probably make that work. But again, that's not set in stone. So in a perfect world, if everyone likes it and the stars align, there is plenty of Shit Show story to go around. I'm not out of ideas just quite yet.
All right. Are you going to do any variant covers for issue 1 or anything?
Hope so.
Is there anything that you can tell us? Little snippet?
What can I say? I have 2 variants right now in my storage, in my files. And I have 1 more in the works. I'm not sure if we'll be doing all of them. I think he said this. I am working on something with Silverbacks.
Amazing artist. We interviewed him on week 2 of Scout Month. Y'all go check that out.
That's going to be pretty cool. We're doing something fun with him. You guys will recognize what it is. The second you see it, it is an homage cover. Three other things that I can't tell you about. I probably wasn't
All
even
right.
supposed to say about Silverbacks. So, I mean, yeah, we are going to have plenty of options, but then again, much like this story, I'm not sure what will come to fruition and what won't.
All right. Well, could you tell us the steps you got to take to get your comic book actually published or recognized, or what?
Right. So, yeah, let's start at the beginning. First, the hardest part, I've said this before, and so this is my first published work, right? So I'm not some sort of guru or anything like that. But when it comes to writing, for me, at least personally, the hardest part of writing is sitting down and actually writing. You
Yeah.
know, it's so easy. Everyone has ideas. It's so easy to you're in the shower, you're sleeping, you're out and about, and you get this idea, right?
Mm.
But you kind of just have to act on the idea. So what I should have, I have a notebook. I've kind of started breaking into it for the shit show newsletter, right? The shit list, which you should sign up for, by the way.
Yep.
www.poop.show.
We'll put a link in the description for you.
Right. So just
Yep.
poop.show. But anyway, so I pretty much just tabulate the general idea. Usually it's like a log line or an elevator pitch. It'll be one or two sentences. It'll be super powered family forms traveling circus,
Mm.
right?
Right.
Which is what the Magnificent McCoys is. I kind of made it a lot more colorful. You know, then you grow it. The process itself. So what I do, I take that idea and write an outline from that idea. It's not like a novel, I guess, with the actual dialogue and stuff. I just write the story how I want to. I want to say, um, Richard McCoy, the main character in Shit Show, the superhero formerly known as Legend, is drunk out of his mind and hits himself on the head with a rock and accidentally passes out, which sends him on this flashback of sorts.
Right.
Just descriptors like that, and then when I do take for the descriptors, I'll then plot it out. I'll write what I want done page by page by page. So page 1, I want Rich to fall down in a drunken stupor. Page 2 and 3, I want X and X to happen.
Right. Yeah.
Right. 4 and 5, I want this to happen. So I group it by pages, right? So obviously, you look at a comic and page 1's by itself. But then page 2 and 3 is a spread, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, so on and so forth. So I break it down like that. So if I want like a huge 2-page splash, what I take full advantage of in issue 1 twice, I think.
Nice.
That's there. But then right after that's outlined, so typically I write, I think all 3 issues are 24 pages, either 22 or 24. I know one's 24 pages. So I outline the comic page by page, and then I go through and do the beats. I break it down. Of course, you've seen the script by now. I do by panels. So I make sure I break page 1 down into panels. I try to keep everything 4 to 5 panels. There's some instances where I go overboard. But yeah, 4 to 5. Then once I get the panels done, I go back through and do dialogue. I kind of develop the dialogue separately, which is something in all honesty, I kind of picked up towards the end of writing these first 3 issues, and it's a super handy thing. So I kind of have the dialogue separately until this point, and then once I have the actual page 1, panel 1, page 1, panel 2, page 1, panel 3 planned out, I'll go back through and insert the dialogue and break it up in the way that it makes most sense and as space allows. Again, I'm not sure if that's even a worthwhile process or I'm pulling my hair out. But that's my process. And then that's on the writing side, right? So
what's step 2? Like once when you have a cohesive script, what do you do after that?
Right. You got to find your artist. You know, so to find the artist for here.
Can you tell us who your artist is for Shit Show?
Samir Samau. He's a Brazilian guy. I found him on Facebook. Facebook's
Shout
an
out to him.
excellent, social networking tool, and he's done killer work. I just posted. This was long, long before I had even pitched the book to Scout. I posted there, obviously, in Facebook group. I'm pretty sure most creators are part of it. It has thousands and thousands of members. You just post the page, and everyone drops in their portfolios and stuff. And the second Samir posted his stuff and I looked through, I said, man, this is exactly what I wanted for the book.
Yeah.
So without even getting a colorer or letterer in mind, we started doing the first 6 pages. Most publishers want the first 6 pages, or 6 pages, I should say. And it just so happened our first 6 do a very good job of telling what the whole series is about, right? In the first 6 pages, you get introduced to the villain. You get a very good story about Rich being a slobbering drunk. You know, that's really what you need to know for the story. You get that they have superpowers and all of that. So we did the first 6 pages. And then I realized, crap, these need to be colored. And they also need letters. So we got the 6 pages out of the way. I found the colorer, Warnia, on Instagram. I don't even know how I found her on Instagram. I had searched sequential art or something and I was looking through Instagram and I found her portfolio on Instagram. And she came on board. And Letterers is a letter studio called Letter Squids, and it's phenomenal. It's a lot of people don't treat lettering the way it should be. But if you see really good letters in the comic, they stand out, right? The same with very bad lettering. So, yeah, I mean, the one guy I'm working with, Justin at Letter Squids, is phenomenal. I'm very biased, but his work, some of them, my favorite work I've ever seen, letters wise.
All right, so does the artist draw the picture, then you go in and put the bubbles where you want? And, like, the letterist comes in, do they hand write the words in, or?
It's digital. It's all digital. I mean, you still probably have the traditional things. So it depends. You look at Eric Larson developing, like, Savage Dragon on Facebook, right? And fortunately enough for Eric, he's a writer and artist, so he kind of draws the art around the the letters. Sorry, lost my train of thought. But I'm not an artist. You guys could tell that. I've tried to do some quote unquote commissions with these thank you packages and stickers I sent out, but I'm not an artist. So apologies to everyone hoping to sell something on eBay of mine. I mean, we're a team, right?
Right.
So I entrust Samir to do his work and Warnia to do her work, which kind of leaves the letterer in our scenario in a kind of a pinch because he has to deal with the art. But he's an exceptional pro and has done great with it. So it depends. I mean, my style is I write the script and let everyone else do what they want, what they deem best. And so far, we have run into very, very few changes or roadblocks. I can't say I've ever asked Samir for any changes in the line art or anything like that.
Yeah, from what I've seen, he's an amazing artist. And the script in the book is amazing. Y'all need to pick this up. It's a really good book. It's very different than normally what you would normally read. A bunch of pals and bams and just superhero-y.
Right.
Because it gets old. Reading Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman all the time gets old. And Spider-Man and Iron Man. Your book is something new. It gives it new light and I'm trying to, what's the right words? Grounds it a little bit more.
Right, and that's the whole purpose behind it, right? Because a lot of the times we forget. I mean, he's not human. I mean, but he's a being, right? A lot of people say they like to deconstruct these superhero stories and such, and with the sounding, the chance of sounding cliche, that's exactly what we do here. I mean, they're all superheroes, but they're they are deconstructed and made into very human characters. And each of them are going through stuff that we can go through or have gone through or will go through or something of that nature. Yeah, it's grounded, it's gritty, and those are the two words I typically hate using to describe things, but that's just how it is. We wanted to make a story that's, very real and very human. It's drawing some comparisons to The Boys. It's not full on The Boys. They are marketing and monetizing their powers and such, but they're not all pukes and they're not all bad people. There's still some good in the world, but there's still some bad in the world.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're at now. The only powered people in the world are these circus performers, um, who are going through a lot of shit.
Yeah. Could you tell us about the pitch meeting with Scout? In case some of us never been to a pitch meeting.
I went, so I wasn't fortunate enough to actually pitch it face to face or have a meeting. I pitched it through the normal process. Scout was the highest on my list. So I pitched this book to two different publishers. Scout and another one I don't want to say. It wasn't a big one by any means. It wasn't Image or Dark Horse or anything.
Right.
Maybe I did pitch it to Dark Horse. But I mean, Scout was on the highest. I had seen Stabity Bunny. I had read Stabity Bunny. I had read The Electric Black. Like, man, this does feel like it would fit best at Scout. It's more of an adult. Well, it is an adult book. But I was nervous, right? Because I looked at their pages. I'm like, man, they don't have any superhero books, right? And a lot of indie publishers like to shy away from superhero books. You have studios like TKO. They refuse to publish superhero books. So I'm like, man, I really want Scout, but they don't. I think they had one, Elasticator's a superhero book, a few years ago. But I'm like, man, they don't have anything. Unfortunately enough, they like the pitch packet, and the story and the artwork, and here we are.
All right. Wow. I mean, you don't have to tell us. Did it give you like a budget? Like, all right, here's your budget. Do your comic, or
so this is creator owned. I mean, everything at Scout's still creator owned, so
right.
I am on the hook for all the costs associated with at least the production of the book. So I am the sole copyright holder, I guess, for this title, the creator-owned title. So what I'm not essentially. I am paying everyone else involved. So the budget, at least for this book, is whatever I want to do. And I know a lot of other creator-owned books, the writer and the artist split the copyright, intellectual property, and such. But that's just not the setup we had for this. Obviously, it's harder to work with an artist free of charge if it's your first damn book, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, most image books, those writers and artists know the books are going to sell, so they just split everything on the back end and stuff. But I knew full well going into this, it was going to cost some money, and it has. But I've loved every single page. It's there's some pages coming up that it's much better than I ever expected it to be. Mm-hmm. I already expect good things from the people I'm working with, but man, there's one page I damn near lost my mind over. So I'm excited to see it all come together.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'd imagine there would have to be a lot of trust between the artists that you pick to send them. Like, what do you send them? Like a page of the script, just to do the art, or you just send them the whole script? Like,
I sent him the whole script. I mean, in this case, I sent him I sent Samir the first 6 pages because that's all I had at the moment, right? Like right. I said, we had to pitch it and stuff, and I had my outline and stuff, but I spent way too much time on these first 6 pages. And now looking back on it, I wish I could have done a lot of stuff different. But it's set in stone now. So
I enjoy it. I've read probably the first 3 pages, and I love it.
Awesome, thank you. I totally forget. Yeah, I mean, I trust Samir in whatever he does. Like I said, I've had very few changes. But yeah, so I mean, the thought process behind it, after we got picked up, of course, and started moving forward with this, I sent him the first, just the whole entire script, just so he could see where it's going and what's going to happen. I think he has 2 already too. Hopefully he does. But yeah.
Is this art by hand or is it digital?
No, so he does. There are physical copies of this art somewhere, and I have no idea what he plans on doing with those. I know I've talked to him before about getting my hands on a couple of them because I would love those in my office.
Yes,
a few pages, and I know certainly well he would probably be able to sell those or something in Scout HQ or something like that. So there are physical copies. Obviously, the coloring's all digital, lettering's all digital. But somewhere there are physical copies of shit show art.
Right, because I was just wondering because things have changed from instead of like hand drawing, like a book, like Spider-Man, just because he was there, instead of like hand drawing this, they do it all digital. And now, the guy Peterson, Angel from Sad Hill, he does both. He does hand drawn and digital, and you can't tell. It all looks hand drawn. That's why I was just curious. I seen the couple pages you sent me. It looked like it was hand drawn. That's why I was.
Yep. So he physically, well, it's all physical, I guess, but he draws it out on his boards, and then he'll scan it in and do it that way. There is a short story that may or may not pop up in one of them. One of these issues that is full digital, from pencils to inks to colors. So
Okay. I think that's it for now, Adam. Thank you for coming on and letting us interview you.
Yeah, no problem. We'll have to. By now, this is a regular occurrence, right? So
yeah,
check back in once we get closer to release.
Oh yeah, we will. Do you have any shout outs?
Shout outs.
Or any thank yous?
Samir, Wardia, Justin with Letter Squids. They've been fantastic to work with, obviously. Silverbacks and James Haick and Seth Horton at Scout. They've all been very supportive. Andrea, who's editing, he's if you guys ever decide to write a comic book, hire yourselves a damn editor, because Andrea's just been entirely invaluable. He's been amazing to work with. Joel Rodriguez is helping out with some things on the production side. Who else? It feels like I've won an award or something, and I need to. Obviously, my parents are probably going to watch this, so thanks, Mom and Dad. But no, it's been, the support so far has just been totally mind-boggling, and I didn't expect any of it, which is good and bad because it's totally fueling it. So I'm a marketer by trade. So this all is fueling into my marketing and PR buzz, right? So good response just means I'm going to be doing more stuff. So many of you are probably going to be sick and tired of Shit Show by the time you actually see Shit Show. But hey, man, it's a good little book, and I hope we can do much, much, much more with it.
All right. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you.